Today, we will discuss very important topics that will help you make informed decisions regarding your test dates, choice of test, and factors that may be holding you back. These decisions play a significant role in your application process, so let's dive right in. I self studied for the GMAT, and I only gave myself time to take the test one time before my deadlines for business and policy school. Even though things worked out for me, giving yourself time to take the test just once is not an advisable strategy. After months of diligent self study with a Princeton Review CD, yep, I'm an elder millennial, I earned a 620, the same exact score I got on a diagnostic test before I did any studying. If you can afford to take a test prep course and or get a one-on-one tutor, I would recommend it. It gives you someone to help you identify your strengths, weaknesses, and subject matter areas of weakness on the test. They can help you create a study plan, help hold you accountable, and encourage you along the way. Sometimes you can save a lot of money by hiring an independent one on one tutor directly rather than going through a large company. Just make sure to interview the tutor, speak with one or more of their former clients, and do a sample tutoring session, even if you need to pay for the sample tutoring session. That way, you can make sure it's a good match before fully committing. First, we're going to decide on your test date. To begin, it's crucial to give yourself ample time and budget to take the test multiple times. I recommend aiming for 2 to 3 test attempts before you submit your applications. This allows you to improve your score and showcase your best performance. In addition to allocating enough time, it's essential to consider a reasonable gap between your test dates. I recommend giving yourself about 6 weeks between test attempts. This time frame allows you to have adequate rest and study periods, preventing burnout and maximizing your learning potential. Next is I want you to take a diagnostic GMAT or LSAT and a diagnostic GRE. Now, of course, don't take the LSAT if you're applying to business school and you're not applying to law school. What I mean is, if you're applying to business school, take both a diagnostic GMAT and a diagnostic GRE. And if you're applying to law school, take a diagnostic LSAT and a diagnostic GRE. It's essential to take diagnostic tests to assess your current proficiency and identify areas that require improvement. In general, law schools, policy schools, and business schools are more forgiving of average or low GRE scores compared to their equivalents on the GMAT or LSAT. Why is this the case? One theory suggests that GMAT and LSAT scores are frequently used for calculating rankings. Therefore, if you're not a strong test taker and your target schools accept the GRE, it can save you a lot of time, money, and stress by focusing on the GRE from the beginning. If your program accepts the executive assessment, the EA, it's advisable to definitely take a diagnostic EA to evaluate your performance on this test. You might do really well in the EA, even more than the GRE or the GMAT or the LSAT. So if they offer the EA and that is something they'll accept, take a diagnostic EA and see how you do. All right, so we need to actually choose which test you're going to take. You've taken diagnostic tests, you've reviewed your scores, you've felt how it feels to take each of the tests, and now it's time to decide which one you'll take. In general, if all of your desired schools accept the GRE, I recommend opting for the GRE. If you are really struggling with creating and following a study plan, and or your studying seems to not be resulting in improved scores, like me, where I got a 620 on the diagnostic, and then after months of diligent studying, I got a 620 on the actual GMAT. If that's happening to you, you may be experiencing a real issue that could hold you back if it isn't addressed. You may have testing anxiety, ADHD, dyslexia, and or dyscalculia. It's essential to get evaluated for these conditions to make sure they aren't holding you back in your application process and other areas in your life and career. I myself went through a comprehensive psychological evaluation in 2022 at the age of 38 because I was feeling really burned out and like my brain wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. I also had started to really identify with all the ADHD memes I was seeing on Reddit. I found a psychology practice just right here in my city that takes my insurance and asked for a comprehensive psych eval. They tested my intelligence, my IQ, my working memory, processing speed, and they screened me for a wide variety of mental conditions such as anxiety and depression. It was a very comprehensive process with a lot of steps. But since it was covered by my health insurance, it was only $150. I was diagnosed with ADHD combined type, which means I'm both hyperactive and inattentive. And I started taking ADHD medication. I got an ADHD specialized therapist and an ADHD coach. I found my ADHD therapist using headway.com, and since she accepts my insurance, our 50-minute sessions are only $30 per session. I found my ADHD coach by listening to her very awesome podcast. Remember, each applicant is unique, and what works best for one person may not be the ideal approach for you. So take into consideration your own strengths, preferences, and the requirements of your target schools when making this decision. That concludes today's lesson on deciding on test dates, choosing the right test for your applications, and exploring if something is holding you back. If you suspect you may have underlying conditions that affect your performance, such as ADHD or other learning differences, seeking evaluation and support can be transformative. It was for me. All right, best of luck to you, and may your test prep journey be fruitful.